Howdy. Today we're going to talk about the saddle series from a different side of the story, from the after you're done riding and the unsaddling. So the saddle I'm riding today is my Brogger, Mark Brogger, his wife Lola, Montana saddle maker, student of lots of different saddle makers, but a Harwood student I believe. And I really like this saddle because I really like Mark. And we did quite a bit we roped a bunch together. We used to go to a place and rope a lot, and the fellow would buy yearlings, and George Carl was his name. He'd buy a bunch of yearlings, and we'd go rope them and lay them down and brand them all, and just would spend some time and really work on our roping and our horses. And Mark was always there, and we got to rope, and I liked the way he roped, I liked the way he handled cattle, and I liked the way he does things. And I really like the way his saddles fit, and being he's a guy that uses them and shows horses using them, used to rope calves, be a good time event guy, and he's just been through it all. And if he knows the saddle from the inside out, and that's what I really like. And he's kind of grouchy and opinionated, and kind of just soon be by himself in this world most of the time. So I think he's the perfect saddle maker. And I say that jokingly because I really like him, but it's kind of true. So, the other thing I have on this saddle is my rope. It's an Oregon crossover. This is a braided nylon, and I really like it too. I haven't had one for a long time, but I use it. If you rope with either hand, it doesn't have a twist, but it'll burn your hand coiling it up. But these are really inexpensive, and I like this rope. So, I'll go ahead and step off. And as I step off, of course, one thing that we'll talk about, anytime if I'm riding a Hackamore or a Macari, anytime I have a Macari reins, when I get off, I always cross my reins over my horn, and so my horse doesn't get a foot through them or something like that. So, I'll just bring her over here and we'll unsaddle her. So, the first thing I'll do, I tried to hang my halter up earlier, but I dropped it on the ground. So, first thing I'll do is I'll just get my halter on her. And I kind of like these halters I got from my buddy Riley Olson. They all tied them up at Agape Boys Ranch, and I like it. Okay, so I'll just turn her so you can see. But again, the rigging position on this saddle. Well, first of all, I like the way the stirrups hang. It really sets me right. I like the seat in this saddle. Makes me ride really good, more like a dressage rider than a cowboy. And then the rigging position in this saddle is, I think it's kind of, I'm not sure, but I think it's like between a 5/8 and a 3/4. No, 7/8 and a 3/4, which would make it 5/8. And it just hangs about right. It puts your saddle forward. See, the farther forward you are in your saddle, with your rigging position back a little ways, it puts you more of a balance point with your horse. So that's why I like my rigging position. But if you get it too back, like a center fire or a 3/4, sometimes it's always wanting to go somewhere else. So if you ever read the book, These Were the Vaqueros by Arnold Rojas, there's a story in there about a cow boss, and he had a crew of cowboys with him. And they come riding up to a gate, and he says, "Those of you riding 3/4 rig saddles, let your horses blow. Those of you riding center fires, get off and reset them sons of a bitches." And so that kind of tells the way they fit. And sorry for my language, but that's what it said in the book. All right, so here's my unsaddling process. I'll pull my latigo out. I'll tuck it in from the back, of course, like a lot of you do. But I got a little different deal. I'll take one wrap around, and then I just tuck it down through that way. And the reason I do it that way is if I'm saddling a colt or a horse is hard to saddle or something like that, I can have a hold of my horse, that 3-point contact, but I can still reach. And a lot of times I'll reach and grab. If it's a real tough colt, I can reach and grab. And if you saw that latigo come in there, then I don't have to let go of my horse. So that's why and it's real real handy. It never comes loose, but it's real easy to get loose. So just one wrap and tuck it down through. I see a lot of bronc riders. That's where I got the ideas from bronc riders. All right, and you always, like with a 7/8 or the kind of rigging I have with this flat plate rigging, you got to put your stirrup up to get your saddle off. With a full double, you don't have to. You can cinch with your stirrup down. That's how you can always tell if somebody has a full double or a 3/4 rig or 7/8. Okay, so then of course, everybody has different ideas on how to hang your cinches up, and you might notice right here, this is something different for old Delilah, so she's not used to, she just used to stand there and getting unsaddled. But you might notice my hobble hanger on the right side of the horse. That's simply because I rope left-handed a lot, and I'll hang my darn rope on my hobbles if they're on the other side. Okay, so when I'm gonna hang my cinches up, I'll turn my back cinch a half a turn, flip my deal down, and then I have, that's how I like to hang my cinches. And I can take it off the left or the right side. Now, I'll see, I usually just drop my reins. I'll pull my saddle off, and I'll try to make sure I don't pull that stirrup right across their withers to scare her. And then if you just saw right there, you got to get your leg ready. With these big old heavy stirrups, if you keep your knee in the way and that flops off there, it'll pop you right in the knee or the shin, and that'll hurt. So be careful of them big old heavy stirrups. I let it go right between my legs, and then I'm all set. And I can just make one trip with my pad, my saddle, and I'll just show you who's the maker. Mark Brogger, Three Forks, Montana. And it's got an Oregon crossover. You might notice my night latch. All those little things that are just added on. It's a real simple, basic saddle. I rode it for a long time without a back cinch, starting colts. I lost it, so Mark made me a new one to match my saddle. Okay, so that's the Brogger saddle. Now here's another thing that you pay attention to as we hang my saddle up. When I go to this saddle rack, I'm going to go ahead on my way. I'm going to hang my hackamore and I hang it out wide. And then when I put my saddle on the saddle rack, what you want to make sure, and this I like this saddle rack, but it's a little bit narrow, but you got to make sure that your stirrups hang right. When you hang your saddle up, or you hang another saddle, you don't want to scratch this one, but you want to make sure your stirrups, with these twisted and wrapped stirrups, they naturally hang flat like that, where you can get your toes in them on either side. I don't see why anybody would ever ride a saddle without that. But if you hang it, if you don't be careful, you'll be sitting like that and it'll take the training out. So just make sure when you hang your saddles that everything's hanging right. Your latigos, your saddle strings, everything's right and ready to go for the next day. I hang my saddle pads up. I'm kind of particular about this. I got this little multi-tiered rack, and you put the pad in the right spot so the rack works right. So with my hackamore or my snaffle bits, I got these pegs, but I put them out wide so they don't hang like that and break your leather down. I like to hang my hackamore up. I'll take one twist in the front, that's in the back actually, and then I'll take my McCarty lead and I'll take one coil and I'll hang them up like that. So now when I get ready to bridle my horse, I can put this over my arm and I can put my McCarty lead, it's separated out so I can put it over my horse's neck and get him bridled up, or put the hackamore on. So I'll just finish her up here. There, that goes behind the hackamore, the McCarty does. The McCarty lead, or the get down part, goes in front. And then as you lay it out there, I'll hang it over here so it stays out nice and organized and neat. Same thing with my McCarty on my snaffle bit. I'll put the reins in the front and the get down part in the back, just so you're real organized when you pick them up and get them out. So there you have it. My favorite saddle, that's my go-to saddle. Coming back here, I just feel like when I'm riding that saddle, there ain't a horse that can buck me off. And I love the way the horn, it just sucks a rope down in there. Just everything about this saddle I like. And it's been on plenty of bucking horses, it's roped plenty of stuff. My foot's gone over it a couple of times, not many. but I really feel confident and comfortable in that saddle, and I'm not afraid to tie on to anything. So there you go, Mark Brogger, Custom Saddle.